Announcements, what do we got? Oh, Colette. Everybody has one of these on their table. The Chetwynd Chamber of Commerce, along with Tumbler Ridge and Mackenzie Chambers of Commerce, are offering a trip to Portugal. Sending Portugal, April 6th to 17th, 2027. I just got a call this morning. There are 8 seats left. That's it. So if you're thinking of booking, do it. And it's actually been upgraded now to a private coach. So the tour is completely a private tour for just the people who book through the Chambers of Commerce. So if you are interested, you can get a hold, the information is on there, you can get a hold of Dawn Johnston from the travel agent next door. She's our partner with this. And Colette is a long-standing chamber program that's been with the BC Chamber for several years, but they're a company that's been around for over 100 years. If you watch the Wheel of Fortune, they give away a lot of trips on the Wheel of Fortune, which I actually just noticed because I was like, hey, use them. We are also, before we get started, we are on the traditional Treaty 8 lands and territory, and we're very happy to be able to work, live, and play in this beautiful area of the province. Upcoming for the Chamber of Commerce, we have Harvest Fest coming up in September. It's the second Saturday of September, September 12th. If anybody would like to put in a booth or sponsor this year, that would be great. We have stage booths, emergency services like to bring down their stuff. Moberly Lake Fire Department, also a chamber member. A car show, food trucks, etc. So that'll be, we're in the planning process for that as well. Before we get started, we'll ask everybody to get up and go grab some lunch, and then we will have our presentation, and I will introduce our speakers today. So also bathrooms are out to the right. Emergency exits out that door. Everybody's on their own. Throw some elbows, save yourself. So grab some lunch. It's provided today by Crazy Beans Bistro, chamber member. And then once everybody's settled, I'll introduce our speakers for the day, and we'll get started.
So you guys should
so once again, thank you for coming this afternoon. We're going to have 2 speakers today. We're going to have West Fraser General Manager Colin Nizer, who is actually sits on our board of directors for the Chetwynd Chamber of Commerce. And then also Rob Ballinger, he was the Woods Manager, who is also going to be presenting today. Are you going to be first in line?
Yes, I am.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks, Naomi, and thanks to the Chamber of Commerce for inviting us here today. It's great to be here to present kind of what West Fraser Chetwynd Forest Industries is doing and provide an update to you all. So yes, I'm the Woodlands Manager for CFI, and I'll be doing a presentation first. Just on the Woodlands update, kind of what we've been focusing on, talk a little bit upcoming season, and and sort of discuss some other initiatives and projects that we've been working on, and then Colin will follow up with an operational update as well. So feel free to ask any questions anytime, please. Go ahead, and I'll stop yik-yakking, but I'll just run through my presentation for now. So upcoming harvest season, excuse me, a lot of you probably are aware we're in breakup right now. Operations have, stopped for the season to sort of get itself ready, and for our 2026-2027 logging season, we have a fair degree of confidence in our permits that are approved from government, and the plans are in place to get those into fruition here. And we've worked closely with government, First Nations and other stakeholders to get these through to approval. There's still some more work to be done in terms of some other authorizations, but again, we're pretty confident that we have what we need in place to get our logging season going there and continue on for that. It's not always 100% guaranteed, but we've done a lot of effort and work to get our logging season in place. That's encouraging. You know, a lot of you are probably aware we operate in a very challenging environment at times, seasonally that is, and you know, that can have real serious impacts on our operations. You know, whether it's keeping our contractors going, you know, and just bringing wood into our facility and into our log yard. So those are things like, you know, being shut down for fire danger. That seems to be getting worse and worse every year, and being mudded out. So those are things that we just wanted to sort of make everybody aware of, that these are things out of our control. But you know, we do what we can to manage these and navigate through these, and we certainly value our logging and other contractor base that we have here at CFI. You know, they're dedicated, you know, committed harvesting contractors, planning contractors, and silviculture contractors that you know, have stuck it out here. It's not an easy industry to be in. It's very challenging. It's quite seasonal, and it's hit and miss, right? So just kudos to all our harvesting and logging contractors, our planning and silviculture, that, you know, and hauling contractors, those that deliver our wood. Those folks, you know, we wouldn't be in operations if they didn't see, you know, the commitment and value to work with us and be part of the business community. So hats off to them. A major focus for us this year is fire salvage. You folks are all aware of the 2025 Kiskatna wildfire. You know, it was pretty significant and impactful, right? So that's our goal, is to get into that and you know, manage that salvage timber as soon as we can. You know, and really, you know, defer some of our other plans in place to make sure we can salvage this timber. And it's pretty consistent across the company in terms of the objectives around wildfire salvage. You know, the goal is to, you know, salvage and utilize the available economic timber, but equally important is to aid in the recovery of the landscape. This is a big part of West Fraser. You know, it's to be managed in a you know, sustainable, you know, stewardship, respectful way, and that's part of our objectives with wildfire salvage. It's aid in the recovery of the landscape, and that, you know, primarily is essentially tree planting, but it's also, you know, sort of restoring some of the drainages and roads that were impacted by the fire, the bridges, and just getting things sort of back up to more of a natural state, if you will, and more of a you know, confident state that it's going to not cause more problems in the future for everybody. So that's part of it too. And you know, working closely with BCTS, it's part of their operating area, and you know, they have yet to produce the permits in that area. So we're working closely with them to make sure we can you know, get that British Columbia timber sales to market too as well, so we can get that into our mill. So yeah, you know, I don't know if a lot of you are aware, but you know, salvaging a significant large mega fire like the Kiskatna wildfire is very challenging. It's extremely challenging. It costs a lot of money. It's very expensive to do it properly and effectively, you know. And the log quality, the shelf life of this wood, it deteriorates fast. It's very short-lived in its economic availability to make a saw log, to make 2x4s out of it. It splits, it checks, it dries, you know, and that's difficult and costly to manage and to bring into our mill and make a board out of it. So it's not an easy thing to do, but you know, it is incumbent upon us to manage that profile and you know, make the best of it so we can do what's right for the you know, right for the environment. Another thing I sort of wanted to highlight, and we're quite proud of this, is our progressiveness in Indigenous relations. This is an important part of West Fraser as a company, and certainly you know, Chetwynd Forest uses as well. And one thing that you know, West Fraser has embarked on recently, corporately across the company, and again, you know, CFI and this particular, you know, Chetwynd, we're very supportive and proud of it, and that's our involvement with the Canadian Council of Indigenous Businesses, and that's a national organization with many First Nations businesses and communities, and we're part of that organization. With that involvement, we're involved in the PAIR certification program, and PAIR is a partnership accreditation in Indigenous relations. Okay, so really what that is just a certification, you know, sort of scheme, if you will. But what it does is it shows, you know, West Fraser's commitment and involvement to include and engage and collaborate with Indigenous communities and businesses, and a significant part of that is the Saulteaux First Nation. We're very proud to have a lengthy and very productive and effective and just a great relationship with Saulteaux First Nation. We're embarking on a number of collaborative agreements and partnerships together. We hire a Saulteaux First Nation logging company called 4EG, who are here today as well too. So, these are important parts of our business, and we're really proud of that, as well as other First Nations communities, of course, right? But we're going to continue to explore further opportunities with Saulteaux First Nation and other First Nations, and really the idea of the involvement and the collaboration, the engagement is just involving them more in our business, and that's essentially where the partnership accreditation certification matters, because it's including First Nations peoples, the communities in our job work sites as employees, contractors, and service providers, as well as other partnerships, joint ventures, and things like that. So, and we've done that. We've done a lot of that, and we continue to do more. So, just wanted to highlight that with you all, and just really showcase Saulteaux First Nation as our fantastic partner here in this region. Another aspect of our business that we're particularly proud of, is the adaptation and innovation of our forestry practices in this region. We've come a long way in forestry, I think, in this province, and certainly, us and within our woodlands and our team is no exception to that. And one thing that we're really progressing on quite well is partial cutting. So really, and we're doing a fair bit of that more and more. So what is partial cut? Well, it's really selective logging. It's nothing more than that, and it's not clear cutting. Where we'll go into a certain stand or a forest and just selectively log trees that meet a certain criteria or a certain specification, if you will, and leave other trees for various reasons. Most of the time it's biodiversity and other sort of objectives on the landscape. Maybe it's protecting more of a riparian feature, like a stream or a lake or a pond or a wetland or something along those lines. So we're embarking on that more and more, and seeing some really positive results. So, partial cut is kind of bucketed into three general broad categories. The first one is patch cut, and I'll go through some examples, show some pictures, and give you all a sense of what these things are, visually, I guess. The next one is sort of individual tree selection, where we'll go into an area and just select out individual trees itself. And the picture you can see off to the right there is one of those single tree selections where we've just, logged a few trees around them and left certain other trees to grow. And I'll talk about sort of the reasons behind it in a bit. And the last sort of bucket is strip cutting. And within each of these sort of broad categories, there's varying levels of stand retention. In other words, how much we leave behind and how much we take. And that's really, again, guided by the objective of the stand, right? What do we want to do there? Is it to protect or maintain some certain wildlife or our biodiversity or whatever it may be? There's a number of different reasons why we would have a varying retention, but it really varies between leaving 30% of the original trees that were there all the way up to 70 or even 75% of the trees that were originally there. So we just make a light sort of cut, and that's it. So here's an aerial view, an example of a strip cut, where we'd go in and sort of build these trails, these skid trails off to the, between these patches, you can see them, and sort of poke in with our bunchers and just select the trees within those strip cuts. They're designed and planned in a way that are effective against blowdown and those kind of things, and they've proven themselves to be quite resilient. And you can see off sort of those blocks behind it. Those are the traditional sort of clear cut, if you will, with sort of individual tree patches left in the middle of it. You can sort of see the quite the juxtaposition in what these forest management harvesting prescriptions look like and differ from. And here's an example of a patch cut where we just sort of log really small patches, but leave a whole bunch of standing timber around it, again, for the various reasons, mostly biodiversity. And we would log these little patches, less than a hectare, very small, and sort of skid them to a roadside and take them out. And the trees that are left beside it will be left for indefinite period of time. And that's the sort of the small partial cut. And again, in the past, we likely would have clear cut the whole patch there and left smaller patches. So again, quite innovative and progressive in how we do our forestry business. And here's just a map view, a picture. I think this might have been even from Google Earth, folks. So you can see this stuff kind of on Google Earth as we're progressing along here. And this is a sort of an aerial map view of the strip cuts, where we've gone in and done some strip cutting and cutting between. In this video, hopefully it works. Yeah, so this is a drone shot that we took of an active strip cutting logging. You can see they're actively logging, but it's going to go up and sort of do an aerial view of the strip cut that was already logged. You can see a pond and some very strong biodiversity features that we left behind. There's the trails and there's the strips, and that's all done. That's all logged. That's what's left behind. And again, they're proven quite resilient in standing there.
That's pretty cool.
Make it look so ugly.
Pardon me?
Doesn't make it look so ugly.
Yes, that is a key one. So yeah, why do we partial cut? Well, the reason is we can, but not all areas. Not all areas are conducive to these types of forestry practices, and the reason being is that some stands are a little bit wetter and have other forest health issues that we need to do the traditional way of clear cutting. So that's not a practice that is certainly totally discouraged or out there or negated. We still do that, but in many areas we've learned just through sort of understanding ecosystems. We've learned a lot about that. We've learned a lot about biodiversity and protecting wildlife species at risk, and we've learned a lot from engaging with First Nations and other stakeholders about what these benefits of these practices can do. So. It's not earth-shattering, it's not revolutionary practices by doing this partial cutting by any means. It's been done in various areas throughout the province, but it's new to us. And again, it's because we've learned a lot, we understand a lot more, and there's a lot more we can do around this partial cut in a lot of our areas. So that's really encouraging. So yeah, again, why partial cut? Well, people demand it. It's important that we respect, the public land. First Nations treaty lands and others. So, it's an important part of diversity and forest management, and we're quite proud of that and see a lot of advancement. Our forest professionals are fully supportive, and they do a lot to get involved in this and advance it. And it's the right thing to do. There's no doubt about it. Like I said, it benefits biodiversity, it benefits wildlife, it benefits, and I'll talk about that more in a minute with some of the things that we've done. But it's just the right thing to do. And it also really improves overall landscape wildfire resiliency. And this is a big objective that really plays into this partial cut, where instead of having a stand full of a whole bunch of trees, it thins it out so that when a wildfire goes through the landscape, it hits these partial cut areas, these areas that have less trees, and it's been proven that the overall result of that is a lesser high intensity wildfire that slows it down. Wildfire responders can react to it quicker without this thing blowing up and out of control. So it really plays into a lot of different values, and it's certainly wildfire risk reduction is key for that one. Another thing that we're quite proud of, and it sort of relates to kind of what we're doing with partial cutting, is wildlife monitoring. And this is something that, again, is new for us in the past few years. And essentially, it's basically putting game cameras, wildlife cameras, within our developed blocks, within our blocks that we've logged and areas that we've developed, to sort of track and take pictures of wildlife within these areas. We sort of target them for certain areas that we've protected, certain features to see what they do. Yes?
So when you're doing the wildlife monitoring, and then you do see, I know that like a lot of the moose and that are really ticky right now. Like, do you have anything in the place of maybe while you are tracking this to maybe track seeing what moose in that area are very highly ticked, if you could tell?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't know, it's just something I was thinking about. It would be good because we're trying to figure out how to save our moose from the ticks. They're really bad.
Yeah, no, you bet, absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? We have a biologist on staff who sort of manages this. It's fantastic, and those are things that we're looking into, is seeing more of the value of these things. That's kind of a new sort of aspect for us, a new sort of initiative. There's more things we could do, and we're just learning about it. It's certainly not a scientific, study, if you will.
Okay.
But there's definitely opportunities to do more too as well. Yep.
I'll talk to Lance and see what we could do. Perfect.
Absolutely, yeah.
Since we're going to ask questions. Thanks for breaking the seal. So generally, when we go back in and we plant densely, and you plant your economic variety, right? So in this situation, are you going to go back in and replant deciduous, cottonwood, things that recreate habitat? Because plantations of dense conifers are deserts.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I think that video showed that patch that we've selectively logged with the strip cut showed a lot of aspen and deciduous in there. So the idea is we will go out and assess, sort of count, if you will, the trees that are left, and there's a good chance that we won't plant anything under that stand is actually what we call fully stocked. It is a fully sort of, has enough trees within that stand to meet all the objectives. So there'll be many times where we partial cut, where we don't need to plant. It meets all the requirements of a stand that is growing and active and fully mature. Some stands where we maybe cut a bit more, maybe it's 30 to 50%, we will go in and plant to the required standards that the government directs us to do. But we're working with government to adjust our stocking standards to include more deciduous, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a good question. Those are good questions. So yeah, the purpose of this wildlife monitoring, as we talked about, was sort of to evaluate and guide our management decisions. What are we doing on the ground that makes sense? Is it effective? Are we seeing what we think we're going to see in terms of wildlife use, right? And again, it's not a scientific study by any means, but it gives us a gauge, a guide to see if these things are working and what we can do to change things to improve the efficiency and the effectiveness for wildlife and biodiversity, certainly. And we started with wildlife cameras, and this year, again, we're quite proud of this, is we're embarking through our biologist on staff, who's a bird watcher, a birder. And I'll put a plug out to the community forest if anybody's going to the bird watching excursion event this weekend through the library. Our biologist birder will be there to guide us through it. But in any event, we're going to be purchasing these audio gathering devices that catch bird sounds, that we can assess bird use within our blocks, not only capturing wildlife, but we will capture birds to see if they're effectively using all these biodiversity features that we're protecting. So really cool stuff. So there's a picture of a mineral lick that we protected, well protected with retention trees, and sure enough, we got a picture of a caribou using it. So highly effective in terms of retaining what we did. And that you can see on the bottom is a rodent running away. Rodent, sorry, I stand corrected. That's a marten. But so what we've done is we've created these what we call critter piles. They're small mammal habitat piles that are designed by biologists, a certain height, width, and sort of structure of this pile that enables small mammals to live in these things, and that provides the biodiversity for foxes and wolves to eat these things too as well. So take a quick look at this video and watch that. I think it's a marten, but I'm not exactly clear. There it goes. Caught running out there. And again, that's just a picture of a whitetail, I believe, in one of our areas that it was within the small patch cut that we did. So we saw, well, you know what? The wildlife still use those little clearing areas within the patches, to browse and things like that too as well. There's another one. There's some moose walking through there too as well. And this next one is quite neat. Aww. Wait for it. There you go. So is nature. Perfect. Anyways, that's all I have, folks. Any questions, let me know. But yeah, feel free to get a hold of myself on anything around our business and our woodlands and what we're doing and our contractor base and so forth. So yeah, thank you.
Just a comment.
Yes.
The government it should be a no-brainer that instantly after a fire, if you guys need wood or any other mill, they should be going in and harvesting it without going through a bunch of, I call BS, getting permits and all that. It should be just a no-brainer. That's an opinion.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right, and we agree. And I think we're making progress with government, stakeholders, and First Nations. Obviously, SOTO supports that as well. There's a lot of folks that do support that. I'll say this, that it is getting better, but there's still a lot of work to do. And divisionally, certainly CFI Woodlands and our folks are working with government locally to make this more expeditiously done through government. And we're also doing it at a corporate level, as well as an industry-wide level. So it's a difficult thing because there's a lot going on in these wildfires. There's a lot of concerns, a lot of impact, a lot of stakeholders. There's lots to go through. But nonetheless, I agreed, and I'll say that we are making progress, but can do more. Appreciate that. Thanks.
So Rob gets to talk about the cool stuff, the moose, the bear. I get to talk about logs and boards, so it'll be a little less interesting. But my name's Colin Nizer. I'm the general manager at CFI. I'm guessing most of you guys know this stuff, but you never know your audience. So West Fraser, we purchased CFI in 1979, and it's a modern mill with many capital upgrades. So we had a major upgrade, it kind of spanned a couple of years in 2013 to 2015-ish. We continue to invest in our business. That's kind of, I feel, what separates West Fraser apart, is that each year, even in these down years, we put capital back in our mill. Last year we got DNN in our planer, which is an AI grading technology. So even when times are tough, capital gets thinner, but we continue to put money into the business, and it helps us, right? It helps us get through tough times and helps us be more efficient. So we're a two-line mill. I don't know how many of you have been in the mill, but we're a two-line mill. We produce dimension lumber, 2x4, 2x6, and 2x10. We have a single-line planer and then an ORC that generates power to put back on the grid. So our current operation, today we run 50 hours a week. It's 170 direct employees today. We consume about 50 to 55 loads of logs a day. And why we're here is in 2022 we made a decision to to go from 80 hours to 50 hours, and the reason that decision was made is fiber supply. There's just access to fiber in a timely manner is getting more and more difficult. We could have made a choice to continue to run full out and hope for the best. The analogy I made when we were doing those crew talks was it's like a racetrack, and we got the race car going around. We chose to slow down a little bit and make sure we could navigate all the corners, and we might not be going the fastest around the track, but hopefully when the race ends, we're one of the cars that's still around. Some of our competitors, they ran and then they hit the wall and couldn't fix their car. So we're still here. We're, I think we're the last Dimension sawmill in the piece. So it's not a good news story for the forest industry, but for Chetwynd and West Fraser, we're here, and our hope is to grow. The reason, access to fiber became difficult, and when I say that, I mean government permitting. We were waiting a year and a half, 2 years to get a cutting permit. We were, some new government legislation came in that was, we had to navigate through as along with the rest of the province. And BC Timber Sales, the auctioning branch of the government, was super inefficient and almost non-existent for about 2 years. They didn't release any sales. We're dependent on that wood. If it doesn't go to market, we can't buy it. If we can't buy it, we can't run. So all those factors culminated into a plan. We came up with a plan, reduced to 50 hours, and that's what we run at today. Our long-term vision, however, is to go back to 80 hours. So if we do this, we'll jump up to about 220 direct employees and consume about 80 to 85 logging trucks a day. So why would we want to do this? We have the infrastructure there. We have a heavily capitalized sawmill, a capitalized planer. We have an ORC that has the capacity to supply the grid. We have a great First Nation partner. We've got all the tools that successful mills do. The stumbling block today is still getting access to that fiber, right? It's there's some undercuts, right? There's mills gone away and they're not cutting. That fiber sitting there. BCTS, if they hit their performance targets, those are all gateways to us getting back to where we were. So we, back to the car analogy, we basically have a Ferrari sitting there, and instead of going on the Autobahn, we're just going to the grocery store and back, right? We want to get going again and run. It'd be different if we had an old archaic mill with no technology and we're just waiting for better days. That's not the case at all. We're ready. We have a business plan to run if we get to that point, and hopefully it happens. It'll kind of cement the future in Chetwynd for West Fraser. And as a company, they have full company support here in Chetwynd. They see us as being, a big part of the future. It's just we need to get access to that fiber, and by doing all the things Rob talked about, right? Innovative harvesting practices, different stocking standards and FSPs. All those things help get us to where we need to go. So current markets, you guys turn on the TV, you guys see all the doom and gloom in the forest industry. I think when I graduated university, I think the number was there was going to be 16 mills closed in the province. I think we've well surpassed 16 mills closing in the province. It seems like for a while there they would announce 2 or 3 at a time. So hopefully that's done. Hopefully it's the mills that remain are the mills that continue to operate. Like I said here in the piece, we've lost both Canfor mills, and it's a big hit to the region. So today the lumber market fluctuates anywhere between $400 and $450. When I first got out of university, it was in $400 was a great lumber market, but that was also 15 years ago. It's 400 is not not a great lumber market. It's where people start to panic, and we've been living in that. And then you tack on 26% softwood lumber duties, and then another 10% Trump tariffs. It's a tough racket. It's cost pressures. You guys go to the pumps, you guys fuel up. It's we burn a lot of diesel, whether it's our contractors bringing in logs or our machines in the yard, forklifts, parts. Parts alone is you look at our R&M costs year over year. We continue to do the same things. It's just the cost goes up. And logs. Logs is 3/4 of our cost. So every average log cost nowadays is anywhere between $80 and $120, and not that long ago that was you're buying logs for $60 to $70, and it's a big cost to our business. So one thing that my team has done an exceptional job at is managing our costs. If we were a high cost producer, we wouldn't be around. We would be a news article, but we manage cost every day. We look at better ways to do our business, how to produce more. I think in this last, I want to say 18 months, we've upped our production and we've done it at a lower cost. So we're continually getting better, and trust me, it's not me. It's my team I brought along with me today. They're the experts. I'm a forester trying to run a sawmill, so I don't have very many tips for them, but they. That's the key to us succeeding through this and onto a brighter day. And the Peace is a unique situation that the mature available fiber in the Peace is the most in the province. There's I've in my career I've had stops in 100 Mile Williams Lake, and it's not the same, right? You get in a helicopter in 100 Mile and you can see your next cut block because it's one of the only stands there, and now there's no sawmills there either. So it's I think the business is got a bright future here. We just got to get access to that fiber and continue to run our mill at a low cost. Any questions for me? I mean, it's one spot. I think that it is a positive story as to I think we're doing a lot of right things in the woods from a sustainability perspective. I chose this picture of the burnt logs in our sawmill for a reason. I mean, West Fraser has a track record. When mountain pine beetle came out, we targeted mountain pine beetle. We logged almost the first 90% of my career was mountain pine beetle. We logged it, very little green logs in our mills. And you go in this burnt, we run close to, our forecast this year is going to be close to half our diet's going to be burnt. Is it ideal? No, but it's what's right. It's sustainable, right? If it's got, depending on now, we're finding it's probably got less, it's got like a year's shelf life. We were out in a stand last week because these trees are so drought stricken, the checks and the blowdown and we were out there and you could stick a knife this far into a tree and it's all spiraled all the way up. And before we were getting a year and a half, 2 years, we were still logging this burnt wood. And you mentioned expediting the process. The quicker we can get on burnt wood, if it's up to us, we'd be in it and bringing it to mill right away. But there's red tape in the way, and some of it's justifiable. It's they're looking after lots of good interests, but sometimes we're tripping over ourselves to do the right thing. But it's another thing about having a capitalized sawmill. If you don't, that stuff runs even worse through your mill. If you're running old technology with big drops and it's very difficult to run. Our mill runs it. It's not our preferred ideal diet, but we understand why we do it. No other questions?
How long do you think it'll be until you're up to 80 hours?
That's a great It's a great question. Locally what we do is we can prepare for it. Those discussions are being had well beyond my pay bracket. It's involves government, it involves nations, and there's a lot of things go into those kind of decisions to get secure access to fiber, whether it's long term or short term. It's so I don't really have a forecasted date. All I can, the message I give our crews is that there is optimism.
You get more fiber, like more and more.
Yeah.
Throughout the years.
Yeah, there's optimism to grow the business. There's not too many spots in the province where there's any optimism to grow a forestry business, right? Most of them are shrinking or going away. We have an opportunity to grow. When I say grow, I mean get back to what we were pre-2022.
When you look back in this area, supplied 3 to 4 mills. There was a mill in Port Nelson, there was a mill down the road, Smart Mill, there was a mill in Port Nelson. The fiber in this area can supply 4 mills, right? So we don't need the fiber to supply 4 mills, we just need a little bit more fiber for our mill.
Or are we,
It's a pretty realistic option, it's just when it happens.
or just need to be allowed to get the fiber because we got the fiber?
Yeah.
The biggest
And produces
source
a healthy
out there is
workforce.
Canfor's volume that they're shipping out of Prince George. That'd be the biggest source.
It's a big source, yeah. Canfor owns a big TFL here, and today they're logging on it and sending it to Prince George, which, letter of the law, they're allowed to do that, so.
Shouldn't be.
Any other questions? Right on. Well, thank you for inviting us, and yeah.
Thank you. It's always nice to have a good news story. Wonderful. Can we get the lights? Awesome. I would walk back there. Oh, sorry about that, everybody. Ugh. Awesome. Again, thank you so much for being able to take time out of your schedules to come and present for us. It's been something we've been looking forward to for quite some time. The last couple luncheons I've had our speakers canceled in February, and then on last month we had an emergency as well. So thank you for showing up and doing a presentation. That's wonderful. Again, if anybody has any questions, by all means reach out. And hopefully we'll do another presentation in a year and things will be up and awesome. We'll be back to that 80 hours. So when we were talking about the fiber, et cetera, supply, just to let you know that the BC Chamber of Commerce is hosting their AGM and conference in Fort St. John this year. It's the first time it's being held in the north for many, many, many decades.
2002.
Many decades. Well, a couple of decades. I believe the first BC Chamber of Commerce was held in Fort St. John, somebody told me, in 1952. So this will be the third time that it's being held up here. If you have an opportunity to register and attend that conference, I encourage you to do so. We really pushed for them to be able to host up here. It's chosen different places around the province, so we really made a push for it to come up to Northeast BC.
Will you be sending out registration, like a registration email, or should I go to Chamber of Commerce?
Go to the BC Chamber of Commerce webpage and you can sign up and attend.
Thank you.
We also have in June our Mind Your Business luncheon presentation will be BC Hydro and the update with Site C and the reservoir. So we'll be advertising that as soon as we secure the date. We're hoping again for the third. We try to get them around the third Thursday, third Wednesday of each month. So if you have an opportunity, keep an eye on the BC Chamber or on the BC Chamber on the Chetwynd Chamber page, and we'll make sure we get that information out to you. Also, everybody has a little orange ticket. So we have a door prize. CTI Plus Resources supplied me with a couple of sweatshirts to give away at our luncheons. If you don't have a ticket, everybody should, but if not, reach across, you might. The last three numbers is 067. Is that you? 067. Hey, there we go. Thank you so much for coming out. You're so welcome. Yes, so for upcoming We have BC Hydro in June. We don't usually do one in July and August, but we might have an opportunity to do one with Natural Forces in July. We're just trying to get that arranged for a couple of wind projects up here that actually were just announced, so we're very excited about that. And then we'll be back in September with Canooma Coal. And then, let's see, luncheons. Canooma Coal in September, Vitrio Minerals in October, TC Energy Coastal Gas in November, and December will be Interjex as well as our dinner with the mayor. It'll be an evening event, so keep your eyes open for that. If you are not a member of the Chamber of Commerce, feel free to get a hold of me. Right now, we will prorate you for the rest of the year. Our year goes from October to October, so right now it'd be 50% off for a membership. So if you're not a member, get a hold of me, we'll sign you up, and you can attend for free and have lunch with all of us. So thank you everybody for coming out today, and we will catch you all in June. Oh, and don't forget BC Chetwynd International Chainsaw Carving Championship, not my event, but big event for Chetwynd, second weekend. It's coming up next month, and it is their 20th anniversary. They are still looking for sponsors and involvement and volunteers, so if you're not involved, get a hold of them and get involved.
I was opening my pants for
Red Dress Day means to me is coming together and standing strong. It's important that, we help the world see and understand the importance of our Indigenous women and children and protecting them, standing up for them, being an advocate for those who can't speak for themselves, for those who are no longer here, honoring their memory.
Last Friday night in Chetwynd, creativity came to life at the Spring Fling Art Show. Hosted at the Chetwynd Art Gallery, the night was filled with color, music, and community spirit. From hands-on clay and paint activities to a lively open mic, artists of all ages shared their talents and let their creativity shine. It was messy, it was fun, and it brought the community together in the best way. Thank you to everyone who joined and made the night unforgettable. This is Peace FM and Chet TV, bringing you closer to your community.
Yeah, there's no good way. I'm chasing fire when I'm running after you. You got that something that I never wanna lose. Yeah, it's like dancing when the song's already over. Moving without getting any closer. Oh, I'm chasing fire when I'm running after you. Yeah, there's no good way. I'm chasing fire when I'm running after you.
Welcome to Chetwynd Golf Sim, your indoor golf experience right here in Chetwynd.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. A pair of hop-along boots and a pistol that shoots is the wish of Barney and Ben. Dolls that will talk and will go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. There's a tree in the Grand Hotel, one in the park as well. The sturdy
I'm Lizzie, and we're here today supporting 10 a day. We're calling on the government to hold to their promise of having universal childcare and advocating for all those families who need $10 a day spaces. So we're signing postcards, and we're calling on the government to hold their promises. So we're going to flood Mr. Eby's office with our postcards and letting him know that the North needs this and for them to hold their promises. So come out to our booth and come sign a postcard. Come chat with us about childcare.
Hi, I'm Russ, and this is Robin, and we're with Community Futures Peace of the Yard out of Dawson Creek. We service the whole Peace region up to Fort Nelson, and we provide businesses consultation on how to build a business plan, how to do a cash flow, how to do marketing strategy. We also provide them with opportunities to do exporting. If they're exporting their product or services, we can help them do that as well. And if they need money, we can provide them with financing as well. And we also provide courses and training programs and find them other government grants and funding. So come visit us at the trade show today.
Booth 11.
Hi, I'm Dale Plord, promoting the Energetic County Fair in Fort St. John. Energetic County Fair is our 5th year this year, and we've got Canadian music legends Blue Rodeo this year. We've had Tanya Tucker, Johnny Reed, April Wine, boy, Randy Bachman, the list goes on and on. Winona Judd, and that's all happening right here in the Peace Country at the Fort St. John Rodeo Grounds. So go to energeticcountyfair.ca. Kids 12 and under are free. It's the best value music festival anywhere in Canada with the best quality music, world-class entertainers, also with local regional artists from the Peace Country, from Chetwynd, Dawson Creek, Fort St. John, and beyond. Get your tickets at energeticcountyfair.ca, and we'll see you there.
We are Uber Economic Society, and we are a nonprofit organization based in Dawson Creek. We offer employment and education training programs. So we serve the whole Northeast region, and we have a program called YES. This is for ages 15 to 30. So if you're anyone who is unemployed and out of school, you can definitely apply for our programs. Come to your office at 10201 10th Street, Dawson Creek, or give us a call. Our phone number is 250-782-2628. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dale, and I am from Tatawa Shelter, and this is Penny, and she is from Tansy Main Building, and we're here at the lovely trade show. It's so much fun. Tatawa, we are the shelter for our people who need a place to stay, and we offer programs and 3 meals a day, and we help our more vulnerable people. And Penny works over at our main building.
Yeah, for the Better at Home program for our seniors, our elders that need any housekeeping, just help around the house. And they come for bingo on Wednesdays, and I make a big lunch for everyone. It's a place where we all get together and just have a lot of fun. It's great.
So join us at Tansy on Wednesdays for bingo. I think that would be a lot of fun. It's for seniors, and you're served a lovely lunch. Thanks for coming.